Mother speaks. I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary. Well, welcome to Great Mother Speaks. I'm Tammy Taylor, your manifestation muse, and today we're talking about
your Great Mother Speaks March full moon reading. This full moon is in Leo. It is a very powerful full moon. It is the full moon that marks the halfway place of this eclipse season. This is the halfway mark, the pinnacle, the arc, the climax of this season. And we pay attention to the eclipse season here with the lunar readings from Great Mother, our still small voice, that intuition, what we know, because this channel is all about aligning our emotion, that Western astrology, that how we feel energy with the intuitive energy. And in order to do that, we do have to be aware of the difference. So the difference is the emotional heart below energy. That is about survival. That is about the continuum between fear and love, pain and joy. So that kind of relay system from the heart below chakras to the heart above chakras, which are the intuitive realm. It's the realm of the soul. Now, all of our chakras contain the yin and the yang, and so that's what the readings get into. They get into how we are supported energetically throughout these purification seasons, which are what ecliptical seasons are. This one right now with Leo in the North Node and Aquarius in the South Node has to do with following our hearts, that Leo energy, that Great Father energy ruled by the Sun, at the expense or with the group thought as an afterthought. So following one's heart, doing what you want to do first as a priority, and then considering the needs of others is really what this energy is about. It's about us being supported in pursuing what it is our heart, that crossroads between the ego and the soul, wants to do in this lifetime. And so there's been a lot of energy supporting that. Have all of us done a beautiful job at exhibiting that and at communicating that to one another? Perhaps not necessarily, but it's all in divine order, and that's what we focus on here. We focus on our divinity. 3 primary concepts: that we are divine children of the Great Mother, Father, God. The second is that we are therefore never condemned or judged. And finally, we are never left alone. There's always guidance along our path. We use the analogy of the Wizard of Oz to exemplify this. They are black and white cards, symbolizing the yin and the yang, the Great Father energy of the Sun and the Great Mother energy of the Moon, that darkness, that still small voice, that black void of the cosmos, and the Sidereal astrology, which is where Cancer is in the North Node, or Rahu at this time, and Capricorn is in the South. This is very important to know. The Great Mother, Great Father nexus that we're working with is extremely powerful. It has to do with the transition from the Piscean age to the Aquarius age. We are letting go of Aquarius energies that no longer serve us, and we're moving more into Aquarian energies that have to do with personal, individual spiritual expression. And so this ecliptical season is a series of ecliptical seasons that will usher in the Aquarius age in earnest. Great Mother is the Moon, which rules Cancer, the North Node in the Sidereal. The Sidereal astrology is the soul astrology, and this is where you hear me refer to the double houses. So, for example, if you are Leo, then more than likely your sidereal sign is Cancer, unless you're about the 5th of the people that exist that have both. Leo, etc., etc. If you want to double check, be sure to do so at the links below. While you're there, I would also like you to take a look at the Mama Drama Trauma channel. It's just getting up and going. The website is coming soon. But for those of you who are the majority that are here out of the work that I do with Mama Drama Trauma and how Great Mother came through to create this deck and to create this work to heal Mama Drama Trauma. I would really appreciate your critiques and your feedback. The channel and the website that's coming is going to be a resource for you to be able to identify, for you to be able to assess, and to get the materials that you need to support your healing of this condition. Mama Drama Trauma is a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and/or physical trauma. In cases where she's unable, unwilling, or unavailable to heal, loving detachment is required. Loving detachment is the basis of these readings. And with these readings, we're looking at energies as impersonal energies that support divine beings, our experience. The black and white world of yin and yang is the world of infinite probabilities. It is the world, the source and center of all things. It also symbolizes the farm where Dorothy came from and from which she returned. The yellow brick road, or the rainbow world, technicolor world, is the world of reality and illusion in which we descend into in order to have experiences that evolve our soul. For Mama Drama Trauma, for example, the life lesson for soul evolution is self-love and spiritual independence. Every full moon and new moon is an opportunity to work with energies in order to achieve that here with Great Mother Speaks. For this full moon in Leo, this is the counterbalance of the Leo sun that was active during the total solar eclipse back in August. Although this is not an eclipse, it marks the halfway mark because we have up to this point had the total solar eclipse in August. Before that, the season started in earnest with a partial lunar eclipse at the beginning of August, whose moon was in Aquarius. And we have just had a partial solar eclipse whose moon was in Aquarius. But before that, there was a total lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipses are always during the full moon. They are cleansing, purification moons. And solar eclipses pull shadows to show us what needs to be looked at. So just this past February 15th, just recently, 2 weeks ago, you might want to check out what Great Mother was saying to you about the shadows that were being pulled out for you. That moon was in Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Capricorn in the Sidereal, and Aquarius, Pisces in the Western. So it was pulling up shadows for us that had to do with that transition from the Aquarius to the Pisces age. Capricorn in the South Node in the Sidereal is a soul indication that now as we are moving into lighter, more soulful energies of Pisces and the Aquarius genius energy of individual expression, which is a higher expression than Leo, but in the South Node and the Western, it's a balancing of paying attention too much to this physical world and being able to relax in the reality of our divinity. If that sounds like a little bit too much, let's unwrap it here and let's talk a little bit more about the rainbow world in which we exist. It's full of planets, it's full of chakras that assist us in the centrifugal forces of these energies in our bodies that ground our soul energy here. What I'm going to do is pull a card for each sign. This is going to be an indication for you of how Great Mother is working with you this March full moon. This halfway mark has to do with this energy going more into self-expression, heart expression, and releasing the group on an ego level, and deeper going into the Cancer, Rahu, North Node level of using that individual expression to be more caring, to have more solidly grounded homes, solidly grounded mothering, self-care, and releasing the need for so much order and so much structure that is resisting or blocking our ability to do so. For your sign, there's going to be a different message that Great Mother comes to you about this particular halfway mark. Because as we move into the rest of the season, which ends in November, we have one more total lunar eclipse in July, and we have a partial solar eclipse in August, closing things out. Now, the season began in earnest back in May of 2017. What was happening for you 9 months ago? An eclipse season is 18 months, so we're at that 9-month mark. What was happening for you and perhaps to you May of last year? Collectively, Venus had just left Aries, and it had been in Aries back and forth with Pisces in retrograde for a couple of months. And when it finally left, a lot of us had come to a realization about some things that we perhaps had known, but the truth was going to take us some time to process, particularly in the areas of personal relationships and what our personal needs were. This was the entry point into this Cancer Leo North Node energy that started in earnest with the lunar eclipse at the beginning of August in Aquarius. What this means is that as the nodes shifted from Virgo Pisces, ordering our emotions into being clear about those emotions, and the purification, which opened up this eclipse season back in August, was purifying what was from the previous eclipse season that needed to be clarified in terms of our spirituality, in terms of our higher knowing, in terms of what we knew we needed in order to have internal balance. And so as this eclipse season opened, I want you to kind of think about where you were with that. Because now, since the shadows have been revealed and purified throughout this eclipse season, be sure to watch the first quarter video for this year, January through March, if you haven't been keeping up with what's going on, because the second quarter videos are about to be released for April through June. See what Great Mother was saying to you at the beginning of this year with regard to where you are now. Because this reading, this halfway mark reading, is very important. It is the reflection of what the cleansing period has been coming up to this point of self-clarity, of self-desire, how to use that in mature and loving ways for yourself and for your home, which is the foundation of outward expression, that Aquarius energy, okay? With now the supportive energies being available for us to implement and to manifest our will from that foundation. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Hi, Libra, Scorpio Moon people. Welcome to your March full moon Leo reading. This is a Leo full moon reading for 2018. It is a powerful Leo full moon because it's Leo in both the Sidereal and in the Western astrology, that ego earth-centric astrology that clues the soul into exactly where we are with relationship to aligning with its intuitional intentions, and that sidereal soul astrology. So this is hitting you up in that Libra area of your sidereal moon sign. You want to check in the links below to make sure your moon sign may also be Scorpio in the sidereal, in which case you would check out the Sagittarius moon sign video to see which one resonates best with you. Again, that information is below. Great Mother is coming through to let you know what energies are supporting you in feeling loved, feeling that you truly are a divine child of the Great Mother, Father God, who is never condemned or judged or left alone. And the energies that are supporting you are in your 4th, 5th, 10th, and 11th houses. This is a recurring pattern of energy that's been happening since the total lunar eclipse, January 31st. It showed up in your 4th and 5th houses then 10th house in the moon. Of course, a lunar eclipse is a full moon as well. And so we will get more into the details as they become relevant with the reading here in terms of how you're approaching this full moon and feeling about that. So Great Mother is saying that you are approaching this Leo full moon at a crossroads. You are definitely at a place in your life at this particular time where you are having to pay the toll. And this toll is something that you really don't value. It literally is like paying, a dollar or $1.50 or whatever, just to get on with your day. It's really not something that you value, but in the wider scheme of things and the supportive energies that are here to make you feel loved, supported, feel your divinity, that you're never judged or condemned, it is valuable. So Leo is in your 10th house. And so that is the house of your wish fulfillment. It is also your career house, but it's more about your gifts, talents, and abilities that you're sharing with the world. And so this would indicate that with this Leo climax of this eclipse season, having to deal with now asserting our will to move forward with the remainder of this season, with our wants and our desires based on what we've learned so far. This would indicate that you are not really valuing what you've learned so far. You don't know, or maybe this is the first time you've even watched a Great Mother Speaks video, and so you like needing to catch up. And the link is below to the February partial solar eclipse to just catch you up to date with the recent eclipse 2 weeks ago and the new moon, and what Great Mother was saying to you then about this current lunar cycle. Because right after is the crescent moon, right? After the new moon. And this is a planting of a seed. And so the seed that was planted for you, Scorpio moon people, was a seed having to do with that 10th house energy, your gifts, your talents, your abilities. But that's how it's showing up now in this full moon. At the time, it was in your 4th and 5th houses because the moon was in Capricorn and the Sidereal, Aquarius, Pisces, cusp in the Western. So that was 4th and 5th house for you at the time. So some of you, right after that partial solar eclipse, you were really beginning to feel that your home situation needed to change. You needed to kind of, spruce things up, ramp things up. You need to have a baby. You need new energy. You were kind of feeling kind of antsy about that, or that there needed to be some redecoration, or you needed to completely change how you take care of yourself in your home. Maybe you needed a new bathroom, a new spa, a new kitchen, renovation, or you literally needed to change how you mother your children. You were seeing that something wasn't working and they needed something more from you. Maybe you needed to work less hours so you could pick them up from school. Something creative was revealed. Solar eclipses show us shadows, and so since this is mostly a shadow card just coming out of the new moon, some of you at that time, some things were pulled out of that home situation and needing to be creative. That 4th and 5th house energy with that Capricorn Aquarius lunar energy, with the sun being in Aquarius, that 5th and 4th house. And so 4th and 5th house, kind of back and forth there, as we have Great Mother, Father God during a new moon together, and the earth really working together with you on that. Some of you got some revelations about that. And so you began to speak those changes. You began to assert that those changes were needed. You began to let people know, or you allowed other people to have their way. You allowed other people to not consider your self-mothering needs. You really didn't value your self-mothering needs. And so you said, well, we don't need a renovation. As a matter of fact, we can just keep on eating out the way we have been and forget about me cooking and the stove not working or whatever. It's approaching this Leo moon at this climactic part of the eclipse season with the energy of Hecate. This scene of The Wizard of Oz is when Dorothy is in the witch's castle and she tries to take Dorothy's slippers and gets shocked. So even if you try to just negotiate out of the goodness of your heart and say, well, it's no big deal. Just go ahead. I'll pay the toll. No big deal. I'll give up something. That's what Dorothy was doing. She was saying, take the shoes. Okay. You want the shoes? Take them. Just give me Toto. Toto symbolizes Dorothy's intuition, the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck. And so she wasn't willing to give up her intuition, which is extremely valuable, but she was willing to give up her birthright to happiness, health, and wholeness, which is what the ruby red slippers symbolizes. And so it's kind of a rock and a hard place type of situation, just like maybe, keeping the old stove and just continue to eating out, because it might be, that for whatever reason, that is what is going to work for you at this particular point. You can't give up whatever that monetary exchange would be for the stove, or you can't give up the time that it would take to, bust out the kitchen to do what you need to do. As an example, because it's home, it's fourth and fifth house energy and creativity, okay? Maybe having a child in that same situation, wanting to have a child and saying, maybe now's not the right time, or not wanting to have a child but acquiescing because the partner does. There's something about approaching this full moon that is saying that you are allowing the light to shine on this issue of home and creativity, because the sun is in Aquarius Pisces, which is your fourth and fifth house, working with these energies, working with these fourth and fifth house energies now to this full moon. But the moon is in your 10th house. And so this 10th, 11th house energy and the sidereal 11th house from the Libra is telling us that this has to do with your gifts, talents, and abilities. This has to do with maybe you are a really good cook, and in your heart of hearts, it's killing you not to have your kitchen the way you need it. Maybe in your heart of hearts, you are a healer and you need to have your spa redone for your self-care in order to balance the care that you give to others. It's something to do with the wish fulfillment that your soul came here to do, but it needs your physical body to do it. And your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole as you do it is being compromised in some way. That's how we find ourselves meeting this full moon at this time. And so what Great Mother is saying is that in order for you to feel the love, despite this emotional circumstance, is by realizing that you create your life. You are the one who decides what is right for you and what is not right for you, Scorpio Moon people, and that the energies support you in asserting that. The goddess here, Ishel, the Mayan goddess of fertility, creativity, and the moon, is here letting you know that you can revise, refine, and edit where you are in your life at any time. You don't have to give up your intuition in order for you to physically survive, and vice versa. Okay, you don't have to give up your birthright to happiness, health, and wholeness in order for you to have a strong intuition. You don't have to be an ascetic, so to speak, and you don't have to sacrifice yourself in that way, or allow others to do that. You can create the life that you need. You don't need the 2 cents of other people. In the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck, the Ankh symbolizes the second chakra. So she's saying your transformational opportunity lies in you being able to get in touch with really what your true wants and desires are. Is it a stove? Is it that spa? Is it that child? What is it that is going to enhance your home life that is being overlooked at this time? She wants to know. She wants you more than anything to know. And this transformative opportunity, as we see here of the scene in The Wizard of Oz, is when Dorothy meets Professor Marvel on the camp on the side of the road when she runs away from home. And he looks inside of her little picnic basket and finds the picture of her and Aunt Em and begins to read her fortune. You don't even really need this reading to tell you that you create your life. She didn't need him to tell her that she had an aunt that loved her very much. She knew that, you know. But she had decided to leave home because, again, her intuition was being threatened. It was being taken, and she wasn't going to allow that. Toto, Miss Gold, was trying to take him. And so she wasn't going to allow that. And so what is it that you're allowing? Something that you're not seeing the value in yourself. Maybe a gift, a talent. You love to cook again. You are a healer, and what you need to be a healer. You are in the process of healing, in the time and space that you need to do that. It might seem like a small thing, but Great Mother's coming through and she's saying, no, dear child, it is not a small thing. Don't overlook the fact that your purification in that spa, your purification and the time that it takes to cook that you enjoy, that it returns you back to yourself and you feel healthy and wholesome. That purification that takes place for a pregnancy to bring forth a new life, to create a new home, a new lifestyle, is a process that takes you from one state of life into a completely different state of life. And you're needing that right now. You're wanting that right now. You're Scorpio Moon. That's what you do. And so you've been kind of floundering with this particular transformation because you are not seeing something that may appear to be very small and insignificant as significant, as important, as something that is really the morsel seed of your purification. She doesn't want you to overlook that. This is the heart chakra waxing gibbous moon card. This has to do, again, we have this energy that has to do with transformation, creation, being at a crossroads, making a choice. And this is when the three and Dorothy finally do gain entry into Oz's castle and they're rushed off into the wash and brush up. This purification where Dorothy enters with ringlets, ponytails, and she leaves with full, little woman curls, she's a different person in preparation and purification for her journey. So this transformational journey that you are embarking upon is something that Great Mother is acknowledging that you've been intuiting. And it does have to do with your gifts, your talents, and abilities that you're here to share with the world, which is translated as a career or a long-term project or something that you have as a child, since you have been home in your mother's home, been interested in, and you've returned to over and over again. But for some reason, now seems to be the time. Maybe a light is being shown onto some issues around mama drama, trauma, and people that you know. Fourth and fifth house is about creativity at home, but maybe part of that creativity has to do with healing a trauma at home, whether it is something that a friend of your child is experiencing, and you are allowing this child to spend more time at your home, or whether it is a girlfriend that you know that spends a lot of time with you and who's having problems with addiction and that sort of thing as a result of her own MDT issues. You're sharing your gifts in some way. This Moon in Leo for you has to do with your gifts and your abilities to assist people, and first and foremost, to assist yourself by not overlooking those things as small and insignificant. They are not. Great Mother's coming through quite clearly and saying they are not, Scorpio Moon people. The transformation that's going to allow you to feel the significance of this, and therefore the love and the embodiment of support for you in your everyday practical life, is by recognizing that a shadow for you is owning this beauty. And so Great Mother is saying that you are not acknowledging that you do have a power that is not only beneficial to you, but is very beneficial to others. It may be in the examples that I just shared, or it could be in dozens of others, depending on who you are. But this card, Nefertiti, is of course the queen of Akhenaten, who was the first pharaoh of the world, the first ruler of the world, any nation to institute the worship of the one God as law. He paid dearly for that, but the ramifications of that are still being felt around the world. The priesthood didn't like it then, and they don't like it now. One of the lessons of Mama Drama Trauma from an evolutionary perspective is spiritual independence. That's real power, to be able to relate and communicate to Great Mother, Father, God in your own language, on your own terms, in a way that makes sense to you in your practical life. And the shadow position for you, when you have Nefertiti, who is here in the waning gibbous moon, 5th chakra card, it's saying that your higher will needs to be shared. There's a higher will that you have, again, returning back to some creative unction since your childhood in your mother's home or your surrogate mother's home, that you're just revisiting now during this particular eclipse season. Great Mother is now saying it's time to own that gift, talent, and ability, Scorpio Moon people. She's saying that perhaps what is preventing you from doing that is that you see it as a challenge. And so she's encouraging you to face the challenge. That gift, talent, and ability is needed now, first and foremost, by you to own it, to value it. It is your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole. It is your ticket, so to speak. You may already be happy, healthy, and whole, but don't overlook the importance of purifying that happiness, that health, and that wholeness for you to create again and again and again, as we all do each and every day, and especially during these eclipse seasons. Facing the challenge in the first quarter moon 5th chakra card is about making a decision to act on what you know. Now that you know, the shadow for you is owning your beauty, that inconvenient truth perhaps, because maybe, everyone doesn't want to inconvenience themselves for there to be a new kitchen. Maybe I don't know exactly how to assist a child that has mama drama trauma that's in my life. Maybe I don't know how to assist a girlfriend who's having addiction issues and these patterns that keep coming up. But I do know that I'm truthful, that I'm forthright, that I have a gift that I may not be fully valuing. And so I'm willing to face the challenge to see where it will take me, to see what insights it will give me, to see where this journey is going to end, because Great Mother is telling me that I need to let go of obstacles in the way of me accepting my inner wisdom. I need to release anything that is making me doubt what I know for sure. And Scorpio Moon people, you have a great deal of wisdom in spades, but because you are experiencing 11th and 10th house energies in a way that makes this, excuse me, wish fulfillment of your gifts, talents, and abilities relevant in your public image and how you interact with people, there may be some second guessing going on, and that happens with all of us from time to time. This new moon card is an indication that it might be useful for you to take a look at the just prior uploaded February new moon video, because that was the partial solar eclipse that was in your that was in your fourth and fifth houses. And it's going to tell you what needed to be released at that time. It's going to tell you the shadows that needed to be released at that time, because solar eclipses reveal shadows, and of course that's how they happen in the new moon, the darkest moon, and so those shadows are pulled out. And there were some things about your inner wisdom as it relates to home. You might not think that you know what to say to that child. You might not think that you know what to say or what to do with that girlfriend, but you do, is the point. And in order to embody and to facilitate the release of that self-doubt, Great Mother is saying that, it's time to be reborn. It's time for you to embrace your divine expression. You have all of this fifth chakra energy. Wow. See, this is fifth chakra as well. This balsamic moon. It's a download card. And so the balsamic moon occurs before the new moon, right? It's the moon phase right before the new moon. So the downloads that you have been receiving about this, what appears to be a small thing, maybe a hobby, again, since childhood that you've had, is not. It's not. Maybe you read cards. Maybe you are into astrology or numerology or something, and you've used it, here and there, and it's been useful, but, hey, it's tied into your health, happiness, and wholeness in a very real way that relates to your gifts and your talents, your abilities that you're here to share with the world. And that public image that you have is not completely true without it, without integrating it. So it's not a matter of waking up tomorrow and, getting a website that says you do this, but it is about you being able to clearly articulate who you are and what you're about. This is a Leo full moon. This is the only one for this year. It's the apex, the pinnacle of this eclipse season. And so what is the will that you are asserting going forward? Great Mother is suggesting that the energies that are supporting you to assert your divinity and the love that is available for you is one of rebirth. This is when Dorothy returns from her journey and she's back on the farm. She's telling everybody about her experiences, and she is a new young woman. And they're just listening in amazement at her maturation. But if you look even closer, they are also those who were with her along the yellow brick road all the way. Professor Marvel was Oz, Hickory was Scarecrow, Zeke was the lion, and Huck was the Tin Man. So you have support. It might not be apparent, but you have people from your soul group, your family, that fourth and fifth house energy. This is now where I'm understanding this creativity at home. Open those scorpion lens into your internal space the way you know how to do, and see with your inner wisdom who the members of your family really are to you. How have they been supporting you throughout your life to express your unique gifts, talents, and abilities? Maybe they have directly encouraged you and said, hey, you are such a fantastic cook. I'll be glad when you get the stove fixed. Or maybe they have said, you know what? I really don't believe in any of that astrology or any of them cards or any of that stuff. I don't even know what you're talking about. That is support as well. It makes us better. It makes us stronger, doesn't it? It makes us understand who we are more. And isn't that a lovely soul? Just like Aunt M, who doesn't believe a word Dorothy's saying. But Dorothy knows she's been reborn. So allow these energies to facilitate your rebirth during this full moon. It's a very purifying moon, and Great Mother doesn't want you to overlook that. So all of these issues with regard to the smallness, or doubts about your wisdom, or doubts about your ability to face the challenge of this crossroads that you find yourself at in terms of your rebirth at this time, be cleansed with this full moon. All you have to do is set the intention, and it shall be, because your outcome is Durga, the Hindu goddess of boundaries. It is very important that we have lines drawn in the sand, and the lines are constantly changing, aren't they? And so we pay attention to what is okay and what is not okay with us on a daily basis. So on a daily basis, pay attention to how you are sharing your gifts and talents and abilities. Does it feel good? Are you able to do it in your career and your work environment in a way that's meaningful to you? Or do you need to negotiate that with time at home so that you can do that? Those are boundaries. This is also a new moon card. This is the heart chakra new moon card, the crossroads between the ego and the soul. And this is the gut chakra just below it. There needs to be a gut visceral feeling, a visceral response, a visceral understanding that you really, really are in a space that feels right for you. This is the scene when Dorothy leaves the farmhouse after the twister and crosses the threshold from a black and white world into Munchkin land. That's what you're doing. Scorpio moon people, you're crossing over from a world in which there were blinders on about what you truly have, about what your true gifts and abilities are, into a world in which there will be a whole new public, like all those munchkins who were so fascinated by Dorothy and loved her so much. And she was like, what is all this about? You know, they gave her a mayor gave her an award and all kind of stuff. And she was like, what the heck? And that might be the outcome for you. You don't have to understand. Just know. Just know. What is the moniker for Scorpio? Change. You know, I change. I transition. You know, I transform. So this is an encouragement to do what you do best, integrating your will to share what you do best with the rest of us. Great Mother has spoken. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and liking. But above all and most of all, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, dark matter, the void, the black hole,